What's up, guys? Travis at Boxy Prep. So the other day I came in here, I think it was Sunday, I came in here to do a video for you guys, mainly go over Amazon tools, especially the ones we use. Tools that you're going to need as a beginner if you're prepping your own products, a couple of them that make your life a little bit easier, especially if you're doing your own prep work. Unfortunately, when I went to edit that video, the audio and the video were off, and I couldn't stand 10 seconds of it, let alone try to make you guys watch it. So this will just be the quick intro, and then I'm going to try to piece this video together and have it make sense for you guys. So after this, we'll get into the tools, and we'll kind of go from there. So one of the things I want to kind of go over quick, especially for you guys that are new to Amazon, is the prep tools. There's going to be a bare minimum, something like shipping tape, Scotty Peelers, scanners, stuff like that. And then if you're a little bit more advanced, most of the stuff I'm going to show you guys, we used when we were working out of the house. Obviously, we have a little bit more stuff now that we're in a warehouse. Most of the stuff will kind of help speed things along. And some of the stuff we still use today, it just helps you get that prep work done a little faster. It's not really a money-making project, especially if you're doing it in your home, and sometimes space is limited. So getting that out as fast as possible is usually the best bet. So depending on what you're doing, if you're doing a lot of clearance type stuff, Scotty Peelers. It's a little metal, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's a little metal blade. And they have plastic ones as well, and those will help get underneath those clearance stickers. I know a lot of those, when we first started, we would use our fingernails, and after a while it got tiring. Some of them I still do use my fingernail. There's certain ones that I know peel off really fast, but for the most part, if you're doing clearance stuff, Scotty Peelers are a lifesaver. Goof off, Goo Gone, anything like that. I always test a small part of the surface first, but that works really good for taking off any of that sticker residue from those clearance tags. If it's safe, I don't have anything sitting here. Heat gun, little mini heat gun. Those work excellent for those clearance tags. What you'll do is just kind of lightly go over that tag until it starts to turn black. Just kind of pick it up with either the Scotty peeler or your nail. And that seems to pull them off really easily, and it doesn't leave any goo either. We do like those. The only downside is they don't really work that well on things that have plastic wrap, or maybe the outside of the box has a different style of print on it. Some of those it can darken, so you got to be really careful as to what you use that on and what not to use it on. Next thing, tape. This is a really basic 2-inch tape. If you're getting into doing much more than a couple of boxes, you can get a tape gun. This is also 2-inch, but you can, it's not a disposable type thing like this other one here. You can get refills for it. We use 3-inch. I think if you start shipping a lot, you're going to find that 3-inch tape is your best bet. Not only can you usually seal a 45 or 50 pound box with just 1 or 2 strips of it, it goes on a lot faster and smoother, and it doesn't wrinkle up. This stuff, it's just flimsier tape. This 3-inch is actually got a lot of back to it, and you can hear it when you pull it off of there. It's a lot stickier, and that could be the tape too, but I have found the 3-inch to be much better when shipping stuff to FBA. The next thing, if you're doing OA, online arbitrage, we found really handy, especially when working at home. The warehouse is even worse. Little box cutters. You can usually pick these up for like, I don't know what they are. They're cheap. Usually get 3 dozen of them or whatever, and they end up laying all over the warehouse. We had them laying all over our prep area at home. If you're doing OA, it's really box heavy, so you're opening boxes nonstop. having a box cutter wherever you need it is really nice. And usually I end up just throwing one of these in your pocket. Little trick I learned: if you're throwing them in your pocket, don't throw it in there with the blade open. Seems simple enough, don't do it. Bend that tab back just a bit. So these kind of slide open like that. What you can do is if you bend that tab, it'll prevent that from accidentally opening in your pocket, and then you can just bend it open real quick when you need to open it. Another thing, if you're doing liquids, you're going to need poly bags. So you're going to want poly bags in all sorts of shapes and sizes. We like I think they're I Love Supplies. I Love Supplies or I Love Shipping Supplies. Those are what we strictly use. We used those before we started the prep center. We really like them. So those 8x10, this is 11x14. We have everything from like a 3x5 to a 24x24. Probably 10 different sizes, and you don't need those if you are just starting out. And you'll start to learn what sizes you're gonna want, what sizes you're gonna use the most, depending on the products that you do. If you're doing a lot of clearance, that's kind of hard to gauge because it changes all the time. What you will find though is with clearance, you'll end up, at least we found that we were doing a lot of open box style stuff, so like toys that has an open face of products exposed. Per Amazon, those need to be poly bagged. So those are usually come in a pretty vast array of sizes. So having a good selection of poly bags will really help that process speed. You can really speed that process up with a bunch of different poly bags. Now the other thing with these bags, we started with I think they were maybe Spartan, and what we were finding was this tab here. If you've used these for any amount of time, you'll know they were staticky. We were always throwing our wrists trying to get them off of there, and it drives me nuts, honestly. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it just drives me nuts. I Love Supplies, the thing with theirs they're non-staticky. They just fall right off. Super sticky. We're not endorsed by them, anything like that. We just really enjoy their bags. We like using them. They're really thick too. So the other thing with some of the other bags is we would find these seams on the outside would rip. These are a really solid bag. We use them for a reason. The other thing, if you're doing a lot of liquids, not only will they need to be poly bagged, the other thing, if you start doing a lot more, lotions, maybe healthcare products that are liquid, really any liquid, gripper seal. You don't have to use those. You can just put a strip of clear tape over the cap, but you really want something to keep that cap closed. So what we do before we poly bag is we'll tighten the cap if it's possible. Some of them already have a small seal on there, so we will tighten that. Make sure the cap's down. If it's a pop cap, if it's a pump, we'll make sure that the pump is kind of locked in. A lot of those screw in, they can lock. And then we'll put a grip seal. I don't have anything sitting here to show you, but then we'll just take a grip seal. These come in a giant roll. I just ripped this off to show you guys. I think these are the 6-inch. You just put it right over the top, seal it up, and then you can put one around the neck as well. Lifesaver, especially when you're shipping a lot of liquids. The next thing, if you're sending out your own shipments, which if you're watching this video, chances are you are. Scanners. You can, if you're using Inventory Lab or Seller Central, you can type in all the products. Very tedious. You can pick up one of these cheaper scanners. I think they're like 25 or 30 bucks. We use this for a long time. Sorry, I'm not even going to edit that out. So we used this scanner for a long time. What I was finding though in our basement was the range was not as good as I would have liked. Coming from a warehouse style background, we had pretty high-end scanners. Most of them, the range would never quit. They were all network scanners, so They were a little different than these Bluetooth style ones, but you know, getting 25 or 30 feet away and having it cut out and not work was really killing me. Um, so I actually found another one, little different. So this is like the size of a Roku remote. It's got a string on it, so you won't lose it like a Roku remote. Um, but the nice part is the scan button is just on your thumb. Now, I usually just throw this in my pocket while I'm scanning. I'll, you know, scan an item, slide it in my pocket, pack it. Scan, pocket, pack. The other cool part with this, sorry. So the other cool part with this one kind of comes with a charging cable. Now, I would never remember to charge it. I'd get to using it, throw it on the bench, and there it's set. So the cool part with this one, not only is it the size, it comes with a base. It comes with a cool charging base. So when you're not using it, it plugs into the computer with a little mini USB cable. It's got the Bluetooth receiver in the back. And it just sits on its own little base and charges automatically. Definitely worth the extra money. I think these are 70 or 80 bucks. So 25 or 30 and then 75 or 80. These are all we use in the warehouse until we graduate something else. But for now, I mean, I love these. These are amazing. If you're looking to step up your scanner game, those are it. The next thing you're going to need is a printer. So I know a lot of people, this is a Dymo 4XL, 4x6. That's what we use for our 4x6s. I know a lot of people will use one printer and interchange the FNSKU labels out instead of the 4x6, so they're constantly changing labels around. We got pretty tired of doing that. When we left the house, we were doing somewhere around 250 to 350 units a week, and that was outside of Q4. It just didn't make sense to continue to change those labels around. So we dedicated the 4XL to the 4x6 box labels, and we picked up a Label Writer 400 and dedicated that to the FNSKU labels. So 2 printers constantly running. We can print without having to change the labels. So we can print FNSKU labels, we can print the 4x6, both hooked up to the computer. Made the most sense for us. Now, you don't have to do that to start, but if you're looking to speed up your prep game, definitely got to have it. Next thing, if you've been doing it for a while, you've already got one. If you're new to the game, shipping scale. This is just a little $40 or $45 tabletop shipping scale. Pretty accurate, actually. The only thing I will adjust that, but so anyway, with those scales, if you're running a smaller scale, you got to pay really close attention to the weight of the box. Make sure none of the corners are hanging off, especially if you're loading the bottom with a heavier liquid or a heavier grocery item. Because what you'll do is it'll get to Amazon and it'll come in overweight and they'll charge you for it. I think the first year we sent stuff in, we had like 6 or 8 of them in the first week, and those are 25 bucks each for an overweight charge. So they're not cheap at all. So you want to be very mindful of that. What we did when we moved into the warehouse was we found I think they are 20 by 24 scales, tabletop scales. Though, no, that chair you can see in the corner is not a ghost. My daughter's sitting over there coloring. So what we did, we found a larger base scale that our large box will fit on completely, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. It's also on a table dedicated to the scale. Whereas when we were doing it at home, we'd move it to the floor, move it onto tables, kind of move it all over the place. Now that we're in the warehouse, we have a lower table that the scale sits on so that we can easily see in there. We don't have to pick it up off the floor and move it, and then once it's off the scale, everything gets slid on the conveyor. Obviously, you're not going to have that at home, but what you can do, you can get these scales in a floor model as well. Kind of free up some table space. I know how limited table space can be working at home, whether you're in the garage or the basement, or a spare bedroom or office, living room, um, chances are you're probably using a banquet table. If you're not, those are another great piece of equipment to have for prepping at home. Um, 6 foot, 8 foot banquet table. You can get them solid. You can get them that fold in half. Really versatile table. You can set all your stuff on there. You can prep it on there, move it to the floor. Those are extremely versatile. So I already went over the boxes. You're gonna want 3 sizes. Really seems to work. We used to get the smalls from Walmart. They kind of quit carrying the size that we prefer. So we go with a 14, 14, 14, so 14 cube. Mainly because if you get heavier grocery items, liquids, stuff like that, it's the box that makes the most sense. You can fill it up with your grocery stuff, your heavier items, and you're gonna get 45 or 50 pounds once it's full. You don't want to. You can put those in bigger boxes, but you're gonna want some dunnage in there, some packing material. Yep, you can see her in the background. I won't edit that out either. You're gonna want some dunnage in there, packing material, which can add weight. You might not have the packing material. The next thing is, even with a bunch of, let's say you fill it up with air pillows, it's still gonna, when you lift that box up, it's gonna be off kilter, and leaving a lot of extra room in there can end up with damaged products in the end, especially in the UPS shipping process. So we try not to do that. We try to get our boxes packed as tight as possible. I can do a video as well on packing out a box and getting the best cube possible. You want to start with heavier stuff on the bottom. Now I don't know what Amazon's actual restrictions are. We've always gone kind of, I guess from having prior warehouse background, everything was FDA regulated. So when packing, if you were to pack any food and non-food items together, you would have, so let's say you were putting cleaning products in the same box that you were going to put food in. Now, one, in an FDA facility, you can't. Two, if you're going to send it into FBA like that, please put the cleaning products at the bottom. Cleaning products at the bottom, food on top. It just reduces any chance of cross-contamination. So what you'll end up with is, cleaning at the bottom, then your grocery, and then you can put some soft stuff, apparel, stuff like that. If you're packing out a big box, usually you'll use that for the big, bulky clearance toys, light apparel, pillows, things of that nature, lightweight, bulkier items. And the smaller you go, they're just smaller, denser products. I think that's it. I don't see any more tools up here that I would recommend to start out with. Obviously, you don't have to have these. There is a bare minimum to start. You can start with very few tools, but shipping tape, scale, labels. You can get sheet labels for just a regular inkjet, laser jet printer. We never use those, so I can't really recommend or deter you from them. I'm not sure how well they work or not. Hopefully some of those tools will kind of help you out if you're just starting, and maybe if you're looking to speed up the process at home without moving to a prep center yet, hopefully some of those tools or ideas will kind of help you along with that route. Thanks for watching, and if you guys want to see anything else like this, just let me know.